So I was thinking about wilderness survival. Well, that and, living off grid, living somewhere where you can be fully self sustaining. Um, and then there's all these different options, right? There's like the cabin with no electricity and hunting and doing everything with like an axe and no power. And that seems awesome in theory, right? That sounds like so cool, right? Oh, we're gonna hunt fucking oxen and fish and fucking skin elk and wear it. But then there's also like now more than ever a happy medium or the best medium you could ever have where you have like a fully insulated home. You can set up maybe like a greenhouse. You could hunt or grow livestock and have fruits and vegetables and a well for water, or even if you have to, have water delivered or pumped in or whatever, however you would get water. And then have solar power, wind turbines, and even internet through a satellite and just be chilling. And then there's all these other options like that. There's a mobile home, an RV or a fifth wheel trailer, like just parking it and doing your thing, and then getting creative with that, adding like a barn or a teepee or a yurt or something, and living like that. And that just sounds so freaking awesome. But you start to look, and it's like, well, dude. I mean, I could buy a piece of land for pretty affordable, but then like, where are you gonna set up shop? And then being such a city kid, I don't even know how to do half of that stuff. And I don't think I want to. Like, I mean, I want to be out there and like doing my own thing, but then I guess the happy medium, and I don't know why I keep saying that term, but the workaround is basically having like a decent shelter with normal square footage, running water, and solar and wind if you need it just to add on to it, and a generator and the ability to sell your energy back to the public utility company, and then a bunch of toys, right, to cruise around like in the winter snowmobiles and in the summer quads and off-road jeeps. It's not fun. I don't know, that just sounds so much better than sitting in a suburban neighborhood with air conditioning and getting ready to go to work the next day. But then you'd still have to work in the other place, but maybe you could work from home, all solar powered, and maybe you could grow all enough food to be able to live on and do your thing. But it sounds almost impossible, but totally feasible. You get it? Like it sounds like, oh, that's so far fetched, but it's not. And it's probably not as expensive as you would think. Like you could totally do like a tiny home and whip around water getting trucked in and bunch of power bricks off the sun and doing everything in the day and then at night having candles or whatever. I guess food. I mean, I don't even eat meat, so it's like I could just grow food, count the 10 vegetables I love and get them going. Maybe some fruits and nuts and berries and I guess eggs. And then you think, oh, there's a bunch of different eggs. You could do quail eggs, you could do duck eggs, you could do chicken eggs, obviously. Um, but then I don't even know how to take care of these animals. I mean, you could read books and figure it out. And then, okay, boom, you're out there. Like, how many acres do you need? Is one enough? Is 40 enough? Is 120 fantastic? How far do you want to be from the doctor? Just in case you're dumbass who don't know how to do anything, slice off your toe while swinging an axe. Or, I don't know. It's kind of bananas. Um, been reading a book. It's a memoir, and it's pretty funny. It's about some girl I never knew. I never heard of before I read her book. I guess she has a famous blog, but I'll talk more about it once I finish it. And then I watched this week The Taste of Tea, which is a Japanese movie. And I thought it was brand new, but it's actually from 2004. Or, I mean, I thought it was like, 4 or 5 years old. And it's pretty funny. I don't know how many subtitled movies I've seen, like, I mean, foreign films in general that I've seen that are funny. There's a scene, and I just got to explain it, where this dude, he's like the uncle. Basically, the movie's about this family in rural Japan, and just what they do, right? And I don't know if it's like a comedy, like if it's designed as a comedy, but it's pretty fucking funny. And they got like a kooky senile grandpa that lives with them, and there's an uncle that lives with them, and like, it's Japan, so they're like having dinner sitting on pillows, and you know walking to school in the rain and all that. But the uncle's like telling the nephew the first time he had to take a shit outside, and he was like, I'm in the forest picking eggs. And he's actually, this goes right back to the living off the grid, right? So he's in a forest in Japan, and there's all these wild chickens, and he's picking eggs, and then he's like, his stomach hurts the whole time, and he sees this really big egg, right? And it's like, it's covered in the dirt, like halfway. And he's, oh, it's a really big egg. So he shits on the egg, right? And then, like, whatever. Like, I don't know why I think it's so hilarious, right? But he's telling you in Japanese, and it just sounds hilarious, and you're reading along, right? And then he's being haunted now by this Yakuza gang member who's all bloody and shit. And so basically, what happened was this Yakuza, like, gang member was, like, shot and killed, and then he was dumped in this forest, and he was buried alive, but like the dirt went away, and then it only covered a little bit of his head. So the egg that he thought was the top of the skull of this Yakuza dude, and he took a shit on it. And then the ghost of the Yakuza is like following him. The fucking a dookie on his head, and he's like everywhere. But whatever, it's freaking hilarious. And then there's like a little girl in there, and she's like always sees a really big version of herself, like gigantic, like sitting out in front of her school looking through the window. And so it's kind of fried out, but it's really good. If you never heard of it, I hadn't either. It's directed by Katsuhito Ishii, a spell of time in the life of a family in rural Tokiji Prefecture. Yoshiko is not an ordinary housewife, instead working on an animated film project. Uncle Ayano, the guy who took a dump on a skull, is looking to get his head together after living in Tokyo. Meanwhile, Sachiko is concerned with why she seems to be followed by a giant version of herself. I'd peep it out. It's a goodie, and I don't think anybody knows about it. So, that being said, stay amazing, read more books, stay humble, stay gracious. Podcast Jebuth.